Hey guys, this video is going to be a little bit of just about mental illness and stuff like that. I kind of wanted to share my story um, because I think it's really important. I've been helping a lot of people with these inspo posts, but I wanted to kind of share with you guys my story so that you can know, like, oh, you're not the only one that goes through these things. But, I remember waking up some mornings and feeling terrified because my own mind no longer felt like a safe place. And the scariest part wasn't the sadness or the fear itself, it was the thought that I might slowly stop recognizing who I was underneath all of it. And there were moments where mental illness made me question everything about myself, from my personality to my dreams. And I became afraid that the real version of me was disappearing underneath anxiety, exhaustion, fear, and emotional chaos. It got really crazy, and there were like so many moments where like I would feel like the person inside of me was like turning against me, and I was like turning against myself, and it got kind of scary because all of these things that made me feel comfortable, that made me feel safe, that made everything feel familiar, it felt like they were fading, and it just like I didn't feel like I was going to be able to keep myself. And that's, when you have like all these skills that you developed over the years and all of these abilities, and then they just start fading. Like, I've had trouble playing video games and stuff like that. I did just download Elden Ring, so I'm hoping that kind of works out, that I can play that game again, because I beat it twice. The skill is there. But one of the hardest battles was realizing that your own thoughts can begin to feel like enemies. Because I wasn't fighting another person or another situation. I was fighting my own mind every single day just to feel normal again. I became scared that the things I loved the most about myself would slowly fade away, like my creativity, my humor, my motivation, my ability to connect with people, and even that small spark inside me that used to make life feel exciting. And, mental illness can make you feel trapped inside your own head. Almost like your brain becomes a room you can't escape from no matter how badly you want peace. And that feeling can make ordinary days feel terrifying. There were nights where I stayed awake wondering if I would ever feel like myself again, because when your own mind turns against you, it becomes difficult to trust your emotions, your thoughts, or even your own reflection. Sometimes I felt guilty for struggling because from the outside my life may have looked normal, but internally I was fighting a war that nobody else could fully see or understand. And like for the most part, like I do feel like safe and okay, but like I'm always like teetering on the edge of losing those sensations and those feelings and those thoughts and like mental sharpness and all of those things. It just feels like they're going to fade from existence, and sometimes that can be really scary. And I have been getting better about like reaching out to people and like telling them like what I've been going through and just trying to be more honest about it. But yeah, it can be a really terrifying experience when you're, feeling like you're losing that part of yourself that was able to do so many things. And, I really hope that this kind of helps other people, and that you can see, like, oh, I'm not the only one that actually struggles, because I do go through battles every day. And, yeah, it can be a nuisance, and it can really get in the way of your enjoyment of life. And I just wanted to, share that with you guys. I was terrified of losing control of my own thoughts because mental illness can convince you that you're broken beyond repair, even when deep down there's still a part of you desperately trying to survive. And there's a part of me that desperately tries to survive and desperately tries to cling on to, the person that I know I am. And the scariest part about that isn't just like the sadness or anything like that. It's confusion because you're so used to being this person, and you start to not even be able to tell like what thoughts are truly yours, or what parts of you are just gonna be MIA out of nowhere. And it's not the most fun experience, I will say that. But yeah, there's so many times where like I just pretended to be okay because I didn't want anybody to worry, but in reality I was fighting battles every single day. And I do get glimpses of hope, though, and I will say you should hold on to hope for dear life. But yeah, it's just like when everything is just changing about you, it's not the most fun experience, you know? Um, there were times where I avoided, like, facing these things because I was like, oh, I'm out of hope that I would just maintain that person, but that's not always the case, you know? And I'm just gonna, get through my battles and hope that some of my battles might be able to, help some of you guys realize that you're not alone and that we all face struggle. Even me, the inspo posting YouTuber. I also do life stories and stuff like that. I highly recommend you go further back on the channel and you can check out some of my life stories if you want to learn more about my life and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, I know you struggle, but I also struggle too. You know? Um, but one more thing is like, I learned that fear can become constant when you feel like your identity itself is slipping away because it's hard to feel grounded when your own mind feels unstable. Um, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that where you feel like you're losing your identity, but it's not fun. But that's pretty much all I got. I really do appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving me on the channel. Lots of good comments and like people that I've helped. And I hope that I can continue to help people and I can continue to be a positive light in your lives. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.